breaking news!
This is a special report. Mermaids. Are they real? Hey guys, and welcome back to Crash Talk. Today we are going to be talking about something that is very special and important to me, aka I had a mentee B yesterday where I remembered those fan-made mermaid shows that were on YouTube. Do y'all remember those? And I realized that someone needs to sociologically study this period of time, and I'm here to do it, or to at least do a little part of it. Basically, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, between about 2009, 2010, and like 2013, the girls were on YouTube. Okay, they were on YouTube. H2O, the show, had just finished airing in the United States, and the girls wanted more. And what better way to have more than to just make it yourself? I never want to hear that little girls aren't so creative and weird. So creative, so weird, so brilliant, because these shows were art, okay? Art. I'm pretty sure that some of my first forays into YouTube beyond, just like Charlie the Unicorn and all of that kind of like cringy, corny stuff were these mermaid shows. There was just so much content being made. And let me tell you, they followed that H2O formula like it was God. Okay? God himself came down and said, let there be tails. If you're not familiar with the H2O formula, let me tell you what it is. Fall down a hole or get trapped somewhere. Something mystical, magical happens. You fall asleep and wake up the next day or in a little bit and you're like, whoa, that was weird. Drink water, touch water, interact with water like normal. Boop, bop, beep. There's a tail. Then continues the story where, you go, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? You might have friends that are involved in this, might have family that's involved with this, etc., etc. And honestly, half the time these shows on YouTube followed the exact same problems or plot that the original show H2O did, and that was fine. Did they have mean girls that were trying to expose you? Yes, maybe. Did they have, trying to keep your tail hidden in public? Yes, maybe. Did they have full moon madness? Yes, maybe. And I was eating it up. Here's the thing. I completely understand everything that was happening during that time. As I mentioned, I was into it. I was here for it. I was seated and accounted for. Because what little kid didn't want to be a mermaid? And let's talk about, because we have to be honest, okay, the mermaid agenda of 2006. Aquamarine and H2O airing in the same year? Be for real. Be for real. What were we supposed to do? And yes, H2O did come out around 2008, 2009 in the US, which is why you understand how a couple of years later we ended up with this fan content on YouTube. And this mermaid stuff for me, this was serious stuff. Me and my friend, when I was younger, had matching Mako crystal necklaces. Yeah, I wore that shit to school. Like every day, bro. There is a post, if I can find it, I'll put it up, that's like, there's no stronger bond, there's nothing more important than a girl and her signature necklace. All I'm saying, I used to do witchcraft under the full moon in the bath, hoping that I'd turn into a mermaid. Lock in. I even made a tail. I made a tail out of fabric because let me tell you, those little fake tails, the little cloth ones, the little plastic ones, those shits were expensive. Okay? Those shits were expensive. I was not about to try and convince my family to pay for that, and I was a crafty little girl. I think this is the most that I've exposed myself on YouTube or anywhere. There's some of my friends and family who don't know this information about me. So, hey! hey!
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
As I mentioned before, Aquamarine came out in 2006, and it stars JoJo, Emma Roberts, and Sarah Paxton. OK Slay cast. If you haven't seen the movie before, First of all, just want to ask, like, what were you watching at sleepovers? I just want to know. But the story follows two besties who are played by JoJo and Emma Roberts, who are about to have to do the, like, long distance bestie thing. Hate that for them. And during their last week together, a huge storm rolls in and washes this mermaid into one of their pools. This mermaid, of course, being Aquamarine. Cue silly montages, cue boy talk, cue girl talk with starfish earrings. Like, come on. Come on, guys. Like, what more could you ask for? I'll be honest, though, not much fan content follows this Aquamarine mermaid logic, and I think that that is because despite the fact that Aquamarine is like a teenage girl, which, you know, she should fall into that category that people want to be like, she is still very much like an Ariel-esque character, aka she's the daughter of a sea god and doesn't even stay on shore at the end of the film. She ends up returning to the sea. In contrast, H2O and its logic has lots of fan-made content that was made after it, as I mentioned. And here's the thing. I think it's because H2O has a very every girl mentality where this just happened to regular everyday girls. And by the same logic, it could happen to you too. If you're not familiar for some reason or another, H2O was the Australian mermaid show that came out, as I said, in 2006 and then aired in the US in 2008 and 2009. And it stars three everyday girls, Clear, Emma, and Ricky. Ricky is not as fun to say in the Australian accent. I think we've all decided that by all of the memes, but I just have to say it out loud. They end up turning into mermaids because they take a full moon dip in this pool in the base of an inactive volcano on Mako Island. Got that? If you hadn't guessed from the tale, it was one of my favorite shows growing up. I mentioned in a previous video Russian nesting dolls of me as a person. This one also sits pretty close to the center. Like, it was just so magic to me. Brilliant idea to take the fantasy fairy tale-esque nature of this mythical creature, mermaids, and to drop it into this, you know, super teen sitcom drama environment. So you've got all of these cool things with them being mermaids and swimming in the ocean and talking to dolphins and having powers. Oh my gosh, the powers, wanted those so bad. Still want those so bad. You had all of that, and then you also had like boys and parents, oh my gosh, and annoying little sisters. Ugh. Magic. And a brilliant show. Do not worry. I will probably be doing a companion video to this video talking about H2O specifically because I simply have so many thoughts about this show, like so many thoughts about this show. One, that this show definitely helped with my radicalization process. Like, if you did not end watching the show being an eco-feminist, what were you doing? And this show spurred so much fan content in the late 2000s, early 2010s. As I mentioned, it was out the wazoo in the heyday of YouTube. When I tell you one playlist that I found had over 2,000 videos on it. 2,000 videos. And that was just one playlist that had compiled some of the stuff off of YouTube. Were all of these from individual channels? No. There were definitely several different episodes from the same sort of channel, but still, that's an insane amount. And some of these channels had a pretty big following. What even was subscribing to a channel when you were 8 years old? I don't know, but we were doing it. One of the channels that I used to watch that got pretty popular, called Secret Life of a Mermaid, Slay, they had over 50,000 subscribers at some point. 50,000. I know I keep repeating numbers, but that's insane for fan content. Of course, this ended up turning into basically just their own show with their own storyline, but still, Superwoman, I know that you wish you were her, okay? PewDiePie, still knocking at their door. Still knocking at their door asking for tips, okay? From the mermaids.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before.
Videos from fan pages tended to drop episodically. No, I'm not talking about, 30-minute episodes here. Usually around 2 to 3. Maybe they stretched all the way up to like 10, 15. I remember when I was younger, if I was watching something and I saw that an episode was like 10 minutes long, I just knew that this was peak cinema. The videos also ranged in production quality from, very clear that someone had never actually picked up a camera before to literal fingers in the shots. But here's the thing. I think the piece that's so impressive to me about this content is that these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old girls saw the show, saw H2O or other Mermaid content, or saw each other's stuff on YouTube and went, I could do that. What, like it's hard? And made their own shows. They produced this content that was edited, okay, that had acting in it, okay, that had special effects, that had costume changes. Some of the shots, even as I mentioned, I think before, they moved from group shots to individual shots. This is the sort of stuff that you learn in a filmmaking class when you're in like middle school or high school, and you had these elementary school girls just doing it for funsies on YouTube. And what I loved about all of this stuff is that it was very clear that they were just making this content for themselves. Even if they'd never scripted anything before or picked up a camera before or edited anything before, they saw H2O and they learned different things and decided to put it together into their own show. These episodes usually had title sequences, aka they gathered enough content from their different episodes and they put it together and they put their little names and their characters' names, and it was usually set to one of 3 songs: the actual H2O theme song, Do You Believe in Magic by The Lovin' Spoonful, or Swimming by Florence and the Machine, which was my personal favorite.
I threw a shell in the well, don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked at it as it fell, and now it's in my head.
They had underwater scenes. They had full show and episode titles, okay? They had antagonists. They had drama. They had the works. I know for a fact, whatever old desktop or bricky laptop computer that these girlies were using, iMovie and Windows Movie Maker, shout out to her, gone but never forgotten, it was putting in work. Okay, I know that computer was on fire editing these Little Mermaid videos. To be clear, some of this content was actually really high quality in terms of, the like production quality. I remember one show that looked professionally done, like the camera quality, there were actors in it that weren't just, the main girl and her family or her friends. It looked really good, and for the life of me, I cannot find it on YouTube, so if anyone knows what I'm talking about, please let me know. One channel that I watched called The Three Tales, they even produced a feature-length film which was put on YouTube and displayed in festivals because one of their dads, I think, was a filmmaker. A feature-length film. This film is cleared from the internet, okay? YouTube, nothing. Amazon Prime, just a tease. I switched my VPN location. I still cannot find it, okay? Netflix, the original platform that it was advertised to be on, nada. Nothing except a $30 DVD on Amazon. I'm not paying $30, so somebody, this is a desperate request. If you know where to find this film, I beg of you, call the toll-free number below. No, seriously, please let me know because I really want to watch it. It's very important to me. 11-year-old Ayana needs this. She needs it. And of course, not everyone created a feature-length film as their magnum opus for their channel. Some people, their shows ended because they clearly just got bored and so they stopped uploading. Some shows actually rounded out with a series finale or a season finale. One show that I used to watch, as I mentioned before, Secret Life of a Mermaid, the really popular one, They even had a little catch-up video that the main girl posted a couple of years ago to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of this show. And what is honestly so incredible to me, and one of the things that she mentioned in the video, was that she basically had footage of her childhood, like this project, this thing that meant a lot to her when she was younger. And I think that's exactly what means a lot to me and meant a lot to me then. This was such a defined moment in my childhood. This magic, this creativity, this just inspiration and fun. It was just fun. Why I wanted to talk about it and why I wanted to come on here and, share with you guys. I hope that some of you guys have seen it as well, is because it was so special to me. It was girls who really liked content, going online and making their own stuff. This coincided with Wattpad times, I feel like, for a lot of people. And that was also really, really fun in its heyday, because it was just girls going online, pals going online and making things because they loved it and they didn't care about the quality. They just wanted to have fun. And I will say, I really do feel like there is a lot to be learned from those early days of YouTube where, authenticity and creativity and really just enjoying making the stuff that you were making meant a lot. If there's anything to be learned from the girly pals who were putting on those tails and getting in front of the camera, have fun with content, and the people who get it will get it. And so there is no more perfect way to end this video than this. A Los Angeles tale. Roll the clip. Wow, what a beautiful night it is tonight. Too bad it's about to rain. I better take cover. Wow, a full moon. Whoa! Whoa! Oh my gosh! Ah, what's going on? What a day yesterday. So weird about that. So nice that my earrings and glasses don't bother me when I go to bed. Makes it so easy to get ready in the morning. But let's wash our face. Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. What the heck? Is that a tail? No way. No way, that's too weird. Last night. Well, guess that's life. Thanks for joining me in a Los Angeles tale. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this brought up buried childhood memories for you as well. And if it did, let me know, because I actually had so much fun rewatching some of these. There's a lot that is still on the internet, so take a deep dive back into that little corner of YouTube, because I know I enjoyed doing that the other day when I remembered that this was a thing that I experienced. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. This has been a special report.